To start this story, we begin all the way back to the end of the three-way deadlock of Raditz, Goku, and Piccolo. Raditz, while wounded, tells Piccolo that the other Saiyans would be coming to Earth to avenge him and get the Dragon Balls. Yet Piccolo wouldn't immediately kill him, and instead charging up to make sure that the strike would be enough to finish the job. In the last seconds, Raditz would hear on his scouter that Vegeta and Nappa would not bring him back, and how little they actually cared about him. It would be these words that would give Raditz a snap in reality. Yet it would be futile, and Piccolo would finish off sending Raditz to the afterlife. The other Z fighters would begin training with Kami for the inevitable invasion, while Piccolo would take Gohan to train himself. As for Raditz, he would be knocked into hell, where he would find himself getting into more and more fights with stronger beings, such as Goz and Mez, ogres in hell. Eventually, Raditz would cause enough of a ruckus that Goku would be sent to deal with him once more by King Kai. It would be in this battle that Goku's first level of Kaioken would be the deciding factor. For even though Raditz had received a small Zenkai boost from his battles in Hell, his power level was still only roughly around 3,000, and Goku's nearly around 6,000 with Kaioken. Raditz, though, would begin blasting violently and wildly, completely ignoring Goku, to who Goku would realize Raditz was just lashing out. Raditz would claim that he and his little brother were supposed to restart their race with Vegeta and Nappa, and now everything he's done up to this point was meaningless. He was meaningless. Goku would apologize to Raditz, telling him he had no choice but to stop him from kidnapping his son. Raditz, still angered, would shrug off his brother and leave, needing to clear his head, and Goku would return to King Kai. Now, Goku's friends would eventually gather the Dragon Balls very quickly and attempt to revive him, but Goku would deny them. The Saiyans were still a year away, and with him now training under King Kai, he would prefer to be revived when they arrive and return at his strongest. When asked what to do with their wish, then Goku would actually tell them to revive Raditz. He wasn't as evil as he seemed, and would have a grudge with the Saiyans, making him a good ally. Following Goku's wish, they would revive Raditz, who would then be kicked out of Hell and sent back to Earth. He would then be met by Krillin, Tien, and Yamcha. The three would inform him of what they did, and they would bring him to Kami, where they were training. Raditz would then realize that Kami and Piccolo were Namekians. He would then be asked to train the three, Earthlings and even Chiaotzu, to prepare them for the coming fight. Raditz would reluctantly agree, believing they would make useful fodder against Vegeta and Nappa, if trained properly. The year would pass, and the day of reckoning would eventually come. Goku would be revived, and would make his way back to Earth, but until then the Z-Warriors and Raditz would gather, where they sensed the Saiyans' arrival. Piccolo, Gohan, Krillin, Yamcha, Tien, and Chiaotzu had all gathered and shared greetings with each other. Piccolo would notice Raditz, and the two would stare each other down, and Raditz would smile. From the way Raditz could tell, Piccolo was still hiding his power level, and there was a strong chance that he would rival his own power right now. An interesting thought for a battle, but that would have to wait for their enemies to come. Vegeta and Nappa would approach them, and they'd use their scatters to check everyone's power level. The Earthlings were surprisingly sitting around 1,100 to 1,300 each between the four of them. Gohan's power level sat around 1,400, and Piccolo's was around 1,700. As for Raditz, who they were shocked to see alive with the Earthlings, noticed his base power was around 2,000, nearly double the last time they saw him alive. Intrigued and wanting to test their foes, the two Saiyan invaders will unleash the Cybermen upon them, each one with power levels similar to that of Raditz's previous power. The Z-Warriors and the Cybermen would begin their battle. Vegeta and Nappa would be surprised at how well the Earthlings put up a fight, but weren't too shocked having checked their power levels. Seeing they were losing, one Cyberman would attempt to grab Yamcha, but Raditz would intervene, killing the Cybermen, informing Yamcha they could blow themselves up, and to be careful. With the Cybermen eventually defeated, Nappa would seize his chance to join the fray. He quickly blitzed Raditz, calling him a traitor as he grabbed him by the tail and then drove his fist into his gut. Piccolo would rush to attack Nappa, grabbing his own tail, but Nappa would respond with an elbow to the skull. He would then kick the two back. With the two strongest of the team knocked down, the Earthlings would be shaken. Krillin, Yamcha, and Tien would then each power up, with Vegeta telling Nappa to watch out, as their combined power were now close to his own. The three would solar flare Nappa before hitting him from three sides with ki blasts. As the smoke cleared, Nappa would still be standing, his armor damaged but with little else done to him. Now angered, Nappa would launch his counter, first punching off Tien's arm, next shooting a ki blast at Krillin, blowing him back, before finally raising two fingers to explode a massive destructive blast upon Yamcha, killing him. Before Nappa could finish off Gohan and Krillin, Chiatsu would intervene, hoping to blow himself up with Nappa. This unfortunately would not be the case, and Nappa would survive. Tien would then also perish, using the last of his energy to blast Nappa one last time. Gohan, seeing everyone fall, would attempt to fight, but Nappa would just beat him down. Nappa would then attempt to kill Gohan, but Piccolo would jump in the way of the blast, sacrificing himself. Seeing this act of sacrifice for his brother, his son, Raditz would have great respect for Piccolo now. Krillin would then go to check on Gohan, as they would be the last two with Raditz, who would shock Vegeta as he powered up. Nappa would ask what his power was at, and Vegeta would claim that he's nearing 7,000. Before Nappa could react, Raditz would blitz him, first with a kick into a rock side, then following up with a punch to the gut, a knee to the face, then slamming his head back down into the rock, before finally finishing up with a double Sunday ki blast. Nappa, not getting his defense up in time, would actually be wounded by the assault, staggering him. Yet before Raditz could finish the job off, he felt his power dropping. His weakened blitz was close, but not enough to finish the deal. Yet not all hope would be lost. Goku would finally arrive, making short work of Nappa. Nappa would then plead for help from Vegeta, who would mock him and attempt to kill Nappa, but it would be in this crucial second Raditz would make a choice. Seeing himself and Nappa being thrown away and disregarded by Vegeta, he would intercept the blast with one of his own, saving Nappa from death. Everyone would be shocked, and even Nappa would question why, to which Raditz would respond that they were the last of their race. If they continued their battle, then it was possible they would go extinct this day, and that the Saiyans needed to live on. Vegeta would just laugh them off, quickly defeating Raditz before going on to battle Goku. Their battle would be fierce, and the most explosive Earth had ever seen, being even more memorable and destructive than the battle against Demon King Piccolo. However, thanks to the combined effort of the Z Warriors, they would eventually defeat Vegeta using a combination of Great Ape Gohan and the Spirit Bomb. The day was won, and the Saiyans defeated, and Goku, using the same example of his brother, would spare Vegeta, who would leave Earth in his pod, living on to fight another day. With the battle over, the remaining Z Warriors would decide to go to Namek, Piccolo's homeworld, and collect their Dragon Balls to revive their friends. Using the technology of Nappa's pod, Bulma would make a pair of new ships to go to Namek, one for Krillin, herself, and Gohan, and the other for Goku, Nappa, and Raditz for when they're healed. Nappa would be hesitant to join them, but much like Raditz, would have an urge to get back at Vegeta, and would also have a Saiyan urge to grow stronger with Raditz and Goku, since they both proved that they could surpass their warrior class and go toe-to-toe with him, and even beat him. The plan was set, and the first trio was off, while the others healed and waited for corn to grow more senzu beans. And that is going to be the end of this story. Now, I did have some fun making it, and I do plan on expanding on this lore with the characters all arriving on Namek to go up against Frieza. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little fun what if. I think I'm going to start calling these videos like this little series like What If Weekends, where I just do various anime what ifs. But yeah, I had fun. If you have any like ideas or stories you want to see me do, please leave a comment and I'd be happy to look into them and possibly do them. But yeah, this has been the Galaxy's Cantina. I'm your host JD, signing out. See ya.
You a poopy pants, you a poopy pants.